Hey, brother. Yep.
What up, man? How you doing, Chico?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good. Better than last night, that's for sure.
You performed well last night, man. You performed well.
Man, I felt like crap. To tell you the truth, felt like
Well,
crap.
you're a trooper, man. You're a trooper.
But I
Appreciate you
want to.
jumping.
Well, I just want to thank all of those that wrote in today. Thank you for your kind thoughts. Yeah, I had a lot of people worried. I never looked like myself last night. I looked like one zombie. But I tell you, when you take something similar, the prescribed uh, dose that I take for that hydroxyzine, it's only 10 milligrams, but its effectiveness is like over the counter Benadryl times 10. That's how powerful the thing is.
Cool. Man, I think I'm gonna check. You give me a couple of those, man.
Yeah, and the thing is, you take them and the thing reacts within 10 minutes. The first 10 minutes, you'll start feeling them already. And something told me, how stupid, knowing that I got to go on last night and I took them, but I felt my tongue a little bit swelling up in the back, and I don't want to use my EpiPen. I don't want to use a pen.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm afraid of it, but it's just that that's adrenaline, yeah. So when you get the EpiPen, I mean, you kind of your heart starts to race, and that I don't want to do. But this one
Mm.
puts you to a real mellow state, which I hardly use, and it's been a while since I used it, and I forgot the effects. And when I took them last night, I was like, What's-
Well, it's good to get the old Charlie back tonight, man. Good to have the old Charlie back. It is Aloha Friday. Another week has gone by. Another week of a lot of things, a lot of moving parts right now for all of us. So hopefully you guys can go into this weekend and relax a little bit. Forget about all the stuff that's going on all over the world. Yeah, don't forget to share this. We have State Senator Kai Kahele, also U.S. Representative elect, and he's going to be on tonight. He's going to be coming on about 7:30 tonight. He's at a function right now, at a meeting, so he will come on at the latest. He just texted me. He said he will be on at the latest at 7:30. So, we're going to just talk story a little bit, try to recap the day's events. A couple of big issues that I wanted to share tonight with all of you. And if you're on my page, then you already saw it. If you haven't seen it, then we'll talk about it. I want to say this. Before we'll start off with the Star Advertiser article, because I think that's the most disturbing again, and then you'll see the contrast between how the state is handling things and how our county here on Kauai is handling things, and that'll be the second part of our discussion before the senator comes on. But we saw the cases, and if part of the problem, Charlie, you talk about this so much. The messaging is so vital. Making sure that the information is correct and accurate, that's consistent with what's going on throughout the state. We look to the state for information. Each and every one of us, we look, or it should anyway, look up to the state, to the Department of Health, for information to keep all of us informed and educated. That's really why we did the show 8 months ago, was because it was lacking back then. But remember, it was new. So we thought that we would supplement with the information that we get that's accurate and factual. And you would think that by now they would have their stuff together. And as we see today, they still haven't. And let me just start off by Charlie. Let me just start off by putting up the Star Advertiser. Uh-oh, where did my Star Advertiser? Oh, hold on. I know why. I know why. I know why. Let me just start by putting up the Star Advertiser article that was today. Of course, it talks about our new 122 new coronavirus cases, bringing the statewide total to 15,691. There's a lot of information in here, but I want to focus on the part that troubled me the most. Hang on, let me. First of all, it talked about Kauai's cases being at number one, and we know that's not true. If you heard the press release today from the county of Kauai, we had 3 cases. Actually, this morning, it was reported this morning. This report from the state came out today at between 12 and 12:30 in the afternoon, and still there's a discrepancy. They talk about 1 case when we actually had 3. But this is the part to me that I am concerned. And Charlie, we brought this up a while ago when we had a drastic drop in cases. When was that, Charlie? September? I know you got that date.
September 25th and 26th.
Okay, so remember we had a drop of how many cases? 3,000 or 4,000?
It went from 4,000 to 1,700.
Okay, so a major drop, right? And it was, okay,
Yeah,
we understood.
2,300
Yeah, 2,300 cases got poof from the books. And they said, we had the new leadership, we had the new health director, we had a new process, and they caught up, basically. That was what they said. We caught up. Well, today, if you look at and I got to minimize this here. If you look at the article today, it says Hawaii health officials said today 1,000, wait, no, that's not the one. Yeah, 1,234 infections are currently considered active in the state. Well, if you remember on Wednesday we had 3,296. So that's a huge drop. So if you read on, it says the number of active cases is much lower than the 3,296 active infections reported on Wednesday. Health officials today replaced the released from isolation statistic, which had been used to calculate the number of active cases, with cases in the past 14 days. Okay, I don't know if you remember, maybe 2 weeks ago on KHON Morning News, where the lieutenant governor would be on every morning asking questions. But one of the reporters asked him about the active cases, and he said, we should not be looking at the total number of active cases. Well, I think we should. Active cases are active cases. But anyway, the lieutenant governor said, we should really be focused on the active cases in the last 14 days. And lo and behold, today, on November 6th, the health officials today replaced the, quote, released from isolation number, which had been used, because you can be released from isolation but still be active. And it could be 15, 16, 17 days. But they replaced that with cases in the past 14 days, exactly what the lieutenant governor wanted us to do. They said this new classification serves as a, quote, proxy number for active cases and is based on infections reported in the last 14 days. So what does that do, ladies and gentlemen? What that does, it creates the perception that our active case count is low. It's trying to get us to believe that the active case count in our state is lower than it actually is. That's what is here in this article. And that is what I wanted to share with you all. Why are we, rather than just be honest and open and let us know what the heck is going on in our state, the factual data, why we keep manipulating these numbers to make it appear like we're doing better than we actually are? You saw the case count today. I think Mayor Caldwell just kissed his tier 3 goodbye because their infectious rate jumped to 3%. Their daily case count is well over 50, so they're not even going to see tier 3. But they shouldn't be concerned about tier 3 right now. They should be focused on driving that numbers down. So if you cannot do it mathematically, then you manipulate the data to reduce the numbers. That is dangerous, I think. I think that is dangerous. But that is exactly what they did. So that is why our active cases on Monday, 3,296, and today, 1,234. So everybody's watching this, understand that maybe we cannot rely on that data as much as we should. And now I got to go find me another source. Maybe Brian Ingalls can help me out a little bit and provide the numbers on a daily basis, or someone that can actually, take care of, get that data and put it into realistic and factual report that we can actually rely on. Because, seeing this, the fact that we know on Kauai at this morning had 3 new cases. We know that on Kauai, in the last 24 hours, we had 5 new cases. We know that on Kauai, we have 12 active cases, 11 of which are travel related. And the 12th case, the person never traveled, but came in very close contact with visitors. So I cannot speculate if he worked at the airport, a hotel, at a rental car. I don't know. But we know that 11 of the 12 directly related to travel, and we've heard it. Yeah, they test negative on the mainland, they land, they get the result back, it's positive, or they get the result back, it's negative, then they get sick and they end up. We have 3 people in the hospital right now on Kauai, 3 COVID patients that are in our hospital here at Wilcox dealing with COVID. Now, this is just in the last 3 days. Now, we know it's not Halloween that did this, right? Because these people are all 11 are travel related. So stop blaming Halloween. Stop blaming the people, the local people. This is infections that were caught, travelers from the mainland or returning residents from the mainland that have been tested positive. 11 out of the 12 active cases on Kauai. So I don't know how much more information, listen, Kauai and Honolulu is no different. Maui and Kauai is no different. Big Island, Kauai, no different. Same people coming in. In fact, you guys get more arrivals. So the outer islands and Honolulu should be even more concerned than us here in Hawaii. So I just wanted to bring that up just to show, Charlie, that the reporting at our Department of Health you really cannot rely on that as your daily source of information, because it's not accurate. It's simply not accurate. And that's huge frustration for me, Charlie. Huge frustration.
Well, I wouldn't, be honest. I wouldn't look at that, because I tell you a reason why. I think our viewers are akamai enough, and that this is the reason why. If you're a governor of a state, your number one objective is to protect its residents first. That's paramount. I don't care what anybody says. Two, I look at this as when cases are wiped off the books, unless the person is following those cases, really doesn't matter. What it does matter is it lays credence to what maybe the lieutenant governor might be saying, because his numbers are lower, to say that their surveillance testing program is working, right? So that's if you don't catch on, and it's a good thing you caught on to it really quickly. If you don't catch on to that, bingo, it plays right into that. Three, if you have infections like what you said, okay, and I asked you the question earlier, think about this. You take the 72-hour pretest, right? You're waiting for your results. You land in the islands. You don't have your results yet because you're waiting. Maybe you took the test last minute before you left, right? So it's gonna come in and it's gonna meet you in the state of Hawaii. But it meets you in a positive note, meaning your results come back positive. That means you rode in a plane positive, and
Yes.
nobody says anything. And they
No.
won't even check the people in front or in the back or on the side. They will not. I'm telling you, they won't. Because at that point, by the time you get your test results, everyone has disembarked. Everyone has disembarked the plane. So
Mm-hmm.
that means that if the plane had 256 passengers, unless the contact tracers here on Kauai gets a hold of that manifest and knows exactly where all 256 are, because I don't think they tell them when they made reservations that are going to stay at Pono Kai Hale. They may tell the people on the ground where they're going to be, but I don't think they have access to the information readily right at that point, right? That's why we've always criticized in the city, and it'll be so hard on our contact tracers. Well, number one, if you coming into Hawaii, you play by Hawaii's rules. That is, if it was me, I will take your picture when you come to that desk, when you show me that you took your pre-test. I want to make sure that test match up with your mug. I don't want somebody else. That's why I feel sorry for our National Guard and our police officers. They ask for an ID, but how many times, I mean, even as police officers, They look so close, right? Some people they switch their IDs. They can do that too.
Hmm.
But this is the most scariest part. Ask yourself, with an active shooter case, the police surround the area. Why? They don't like innocent people walking into the active scene, correct? They don't like anybody getting hurt.
Hmm.
Yet, when you get an infected case, they don't tell you where it's at. They let you walk straight in to the zone. They let you walk right into the kill zone. They let you get as close as possible to the infection as possible. That's what's happening right now. Exactly what you said about how these cases are coming in. They are allowing innocent people to walk right into a kill zone and get infected. So what they're gonna say? It's up to you to wear your mask. It's up to you to wash your hands. It's up to you to social distance. Blah blah blah. Hey, what state? Can we help? Can we at least notify the people to give them a little edge, give them one up on the scene that's happening? Or would you rather let them learn the hard way? Says, okay, go walk right there, go walk right there, and go get sick. No can.
Yeah, I know somebody posted, commented that, or the person could have gotten it on the plane, but no, not in the case where the test was already done on the mainland, and the result of the test that came later is off of the test that was done on the mainland. So no, that person, when they took the test before they flew, before they left the mainland, they were positive. It just took 3 or 4 days to get the results, but that means they were positive when they took that test. They were positive when they got on that plane. Well, when they went through TSA, they were positive when they got on the plane. They were positive when they came off the plane. They were positive when they went through the line. They were positive when they went to get their baggage. They were positive when they went to their hotel. Now, yes, they're going to be on quarantine, but between the time they took that test, remember that the result is off of that test. By the time we're talking about the test that the positive result came back while they were here, not the ones that tested negative. Those we don't know where the virus was picked up. We really don't know. It could have been on the mainland. It could have been on the plane. Probably not on the plane because the timing is too quick. But my point is, on the ones that we're talking about right now, those that the test results came back positive after they arrived, they were infectious all the way through. Now, I was told months ago when I asked about how do you contact trace on the flight, I was informed that they contact the passengers 2 rows in front and 2 rows in the back. They will be informed that they may have come in contact with a positive person, and suggested that they go get a test. Now that's 2 rows in front, 2 rows in the back. We don't know if the positive person went to the restroom. We don't know if the positive person coughed or sneezed. So it's there are many people that believe that the airlines are safer than being anywhere else. I happen to disagree, and I'm not a scientist, but I've read studies that both sides of that coin. So yeah, you be the judge, but you should be notified as long as you were in that plane. I don't care if you was in a back row and the guy was in the front. You should at least be informed, and be informed that there was a positive person on your plane, and it's up to you if you want to go take a test. If you were, obviously, if you were within striking distance of this virus, then I think the health department should direct those people to get a test. But anyway, that was what I was told a couple of months ago. I don't know what the process is today, but I do know that more than one of these infected people came over on a test that was the result came in after they already arrived. So they were traveling with the virus. And remember, we're getting a very small snapshot, right? We're only getting a small snapshot of the total number of passengers. Imagine Honolulu International Airport. Imagine Kona. Imagine Maui. It's kind of scary. It is very, very, very scary as how many people are coming through this process with the virus. I'm gonna pull up the Garden Island, our county's press release, because again, I love our county because we get this on a daily basis, and it automatically goes up to the county's. If you're not a friend or if you're not liking the County of Kauai's Facebook page, you need to do that today, because all of this information gets pushed right up to the Facebook page, and you need to you need to be like that page so you can get this info. But look at the difference between what we see at the state level and what we see at our little island of Kauai. Kauai, this came out today. This came out today at 4:30 p.m. Kauai District Health Office reported 3 new positive cases on Friday, bringing the total number of on-island active cases to 12. All cases are in isolation and 3 are in the hospital. One new case is a female resident who is a close contact of a current case. The second is a male traveler who participated in the state's pre-travel testing program but received an inconclusive test result and retested while on island. The third recent case is a male resident, this is just today's cases, with no known travel history but has had frequent contact with visitors. Now, I want to stop right there because I want you guys to take a look at the amount of information that our county is comfortable with releasing to the general public as compared to Honolulu, as compared to Maui, as compared to the Big Island. And correct me if I'm wrong, all of you that's sitting on a different island, let me know. Put in the comments if your island has this same type of releases. You know, I would love to hear it. 11 of the 12 active cases are related to travel. There are currently 20 individuals in Department of Health directed quarantine. In other words, they are under the direction and control of the Department of Health. Kauai's cumulative total is 71 plus 1 probable. An additional 4 of the current active cases received their positive tests prior to arrival. These cases will not be reflected in the Kauai's cumulative total as they count for the county in the origin. Okay, so anyway, these are the ones that got the results after the fact, but had picked up the virus in another county. So between today and yesterday, 24-hour period, we had 5 cases. 5 COVID-19 cases in one 24-hour period. Now you got to ask yourself, are you comfortable with the process that's in place? Are you comfortable with this voluntary testing process? I'm thankful that we have it on Kauai because the governor rejected our mayor's request to do mandatory testing. Don't you all think that a mandatory second test 4 to 6 days after arrival would keep us safer? We won't know the impacts of this virus because remember, these people came in contact with all kinds of people a lot between their departure on the mainland and their arrival and the date that they got their test result. They came in contact with all kinds of hospitality service people, hotel workers, airline workers, van, taxi, whatever, however they call a ride. So this information that we just got from the county of Kauai, for me, is enough evidence to say this ain't working. And while we're catching them on the tail end, we are not catching them early enough. In other words, there's people that I cannot, for the life of me, cannot understand how would you let anybody travel right now without a negative test? How can you let somebody get on a plane? You couldn't do that with a dog, trying to bring a dog into Hawaii that, you know, because they do check for rabies. You cannot come in and say, hey, doc, airlines, I took the test. I'll get the results later. No, you come with that certification from your vet prior to departure. But for the humans who's possibly carrying a deadly virus, no, that's not the case. It doesn't make any sense. So if you want to travel to Hawaii, you go get your test and you get your test result before you get on that plane. See, if that had happened, we would not have those active cases on Kauai today. We would not have the exposures that they have made with other people here on Kauai today. If we had just said, you will need to be negative. You need to be confirmed negative. And ideally, you will take a second test upon arrival after 3 or 4 or 5 days. That's the combo. You get the pre-flight test. You got to be negative before you get on that plane, and you will take a second test. To me, I will feel comfortable and I would feel safe. But right now, I don't. Sorry for ranting, bro, but this stuff is just too serious. uh, to not raise it. You know. So you're muted, Charlie.
Get some people via sending me stuff that that's true. When you take a test, they'll send you your results back on your phone because you got to upload the Safe app, that form. But what's funny is when they give you back your test, your name is not on that test. I got a copy of it right here. The name is not on the test. So how you know which one you're getting? They just sent them to you. I did want to say that I guess they're going to open up travel to Canada pretty soon. So that's just, but I don't know what the infectious rate is in Canada. I just worry about the hotspots within the continental U.S. coming into Hawaii. Uh, One thing, for those of you that know, here on Kauai anyway, I handle the safety protocols for two of the main hospitals here on the island. I'm going to ask you folks if you're going to come and visit your seniors that's in the long term healthcare. When the hospital staff ask you a question, please be honest. We need too many people giving false information because they want so badly to go in and see their seniors. If you take a virus inside, we're just going to have the same type of case we had on the Big Island, and that's what we're trying to prevent from happening. So if you care about your kupunas, please be honest. Answer the questions honestly when we give you the rite of passage to come into the hospital doors to visit your loved one. Okay? Because if you have a virus and the virus takes off and it starts infecting the rest of the long-term care patients who are also kupunas, and we have a similar problem like the Big Island Veterans Home, and then we get fatalities because of that. I don't know how you're gonna live with yourself, boy. So somebody wanted me to put the word out about it, and I said, yeah, I'll do it because we've been experiencing that. I know what they're talking about. We've been getting people, and you know what's funny? Those who try to shirk the system with the questions that we ask, it is so obvious you lying just by the way we ask the questions. And you folks don't think when you're answering the questions. We'll ask you the same question in a different way, maybe 10 questions later when we come back, when we circle around. That's how we double check. And we catching a lot of you. That's why, no lie, you only gonna make A on the first round. You're gonna look like a bolo. No do that.
Charlie, this is Canada. If you just, I know you're. This is
Yeah.
the daily caseload. So if you look back in July, they had 300, 400. September they were starting to
Oh my
and
goodness.
right now, yes.
Oh my
So now
goodness.
they're up to 3,100 as of November 5th. But if you look, just short September 25th or August 25th,
Yeah.
they were in 500 and they're now 6 times the amount. So no, I'm sorry, four. Yeah,
Yeah.
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 So it is it is a hot zone in to a certain extent. My point, it's everything to get a positive person through everything. Yes, we have some safeguards in place, but why would we, right? Uh, we know that the northern border and the southern border of the continental United States, they have a travel ban for Canada and Mexico, and we have thousands of miles of ocean. But why would we be marketing to a country that our continental United States has said, and both now, remember, it's not just America. America and Canada came to an agreement. Mexico and America came to an agreement. And here comes Hawaii. No worry, we'll take them. Yeah, we'll take them. And that is, I think, what drives me insane. Like, why would you do that? Why would you learn from your brother and sister states and your I just don't get it, man. So yeah, we're gonna market. We're all proud because the Japanese tourists are coming. You know, how are you gonna act? when you start seeing, look at the numbers, they're rising and they're rising, and we still never hit the peak from the opening, and more people are coming. I wonder what they're going to say when, I mean, aside from blaming us for everything, how are they going to handle the incoming tourists when we shut down? You know, when we get to that next lockdown and there'll be no restaurants open, and nothing will be open. What do you tell a tourist? Sorry, enjoy, because the beaches are closed. Everything is really closed because we have a spike in coronavirus cases here. What do you do? What do you do?
Well,
So
I think what we do is we pull up hula dancers, mannequins. We just put up mannequin dancers. Go be on ghost town. But now everything I do is analogy, right? you, you do a comparison. And I was just thinking, when we send guns through a plane, they always tell you put the gun in one case and you put the bullets separate.
hmm yeah,
Well, the thing is, if somebody nearly enough, they're gonna find the bullets and the gun, and that's when it comes deadly on the plane.
yeah. hmm
So just like this virus, okay? You try to keep things separate. Sooner or later, gonna find each other, then it comes deadly.
Yeah. No, I mean that's so true. I mean, we I don't care what kind postcards we pass out. I don't care what kind of wallet size cards we pass out. I mean, you cannot tell me that the people that's coming into Hawaii from the mainland is not aware that they should wear a mask. Whether it's required or not, they may not know. They may not know about the mask mandate, but you cannot tell me that the majority of people coming off that plane should know that wearing masks save lives. I mean, we how can you? Oh, well, maybe they didn't know where the hell they came from. If they came on an airplane, that means they came from a civilized place that would know, or they should know, and they're not. So the fact that we got to try the efforts to not inconvenience the visitor at the expense of the local residents, I think is a dangerous move, and that's where we're headed. And again, I just don't know how the state will respond to the visitor industry when once the spikes occur and once we see the cases rise to the 300, 400, 500. Now, again, Charlie, like we said many times, we hope we're wrong. We hope we're
Oh,
wrong. But if you just use Kauai as an example, remember, only 2% of the people on Kauai are visitors are taking that voluntary test.
I,
And we're starting to see these cases.
I already stopped saying that. I hope we're wrong. You know why? Because when you say that, and I found out this the hard way. After talking to my wife, she says, why you say you hope you're wrong? And I want to be compassionate, right? I want to be compassionate, saying that no, because we'll keep the numbers down. And she said, no, what you're doing is you're actually babying the other side when you say, I hope you're wrong. I said, don't baby them. If they're gonna have to learn, they gotta learn the hard way. It's like if you think you can jump, you want you never did jump out of a plane with a parachute and you think you all that and you don't like jump with an instructor, then jump. Then when you wonder why when you pull that cord and your parachute don't open, maybe you pulled a wrong cord, right? So what, first learn some lessons and then so these guys they're doing what they they're doing what they're doing, and it's for us to continually reemphasize the safety precautions or the key safety factors that they've gotta. I mean, I walk around and I get really miffed when I see somebody without one mask. But then I look at the surrounding area. Is that person around anybody? The person's out in the open. Even though there's a mask mandate, is that person, then I start getting worried when I see that person walking towards other people coming up the other way. You know what I mean? Then I start to worry. But up until that point, I just say, I like go over there and scream at them, but I don't like being known as the big bully of Waimea. No, I'm just a big teddy bear. That's all I like being known as, the teddy bear.
Well, that you are, but I agree. I mean, it seems like now automatically when you see through your peripheral view, you see a human being walking, the first thing you look at is he wearing a mask or is she wearing a mask? It's becoming automatic now. And then the moment you see someone without a mask, you get that anxiety or anger or frustration. And, you really like yell, hey, put on your damn mask.
You know,
But, you're right.
the only time they cannot wear masks, and I agree, you see somebody walking without a mask, that's why, not just judge right off the bat, but look at them, see if they come and they're approaching somebody else. Because who knows? I found out the hard way. The reason why this guy wasn't wearing a mask one day is guess why? Because I never have ears. That's why he wasn't wearing a mask.
Yeah. We 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 know it's gonna get worse before it gets better. We know. What bothers me is um when you look at Honolulu's numbers. Yeah, it's rising, it's rising, it's rising, it's rising.
Yep.
But there's no real concern about the rising numbers, except for we got to bring the numbers down because we have 10 people at your Thanksgiving dinner instead of 5. I mean, what about we lower the numbers because we don't see 5 people die instead of 0. You see what I'm saying, Charlie? The emphasis, the priority, the motivation to do anything, it has nothing to do with the health and safety.
Yeah.
It's always about opening up. It's always about the visit industry. It's always about tier 3, or it's always about, no, it should be, we don't want to get more cases because we don't want more people to die. That's why. We have a lot of people on ventilators right now, and the chances are not good for those people. So why even consider opening up when your numbers are rising? That even shouldn't be in that discussion. And trust me, small businesses, we know that we need to get them the help. So you got the CARES money, help the small business. Charlie, we talked about this yesterday. Why are we putting all the businesses in one bucket? Why are we just blanket everybody, even if you operate your business in a healthy manner, even if your business doesn't have contact, your employees don't have contact with customers? Why would that be put in the same bucket as a business that you have those contacts? It makes no sense. And I think if we judge a business based on the safety factor on the community, then you can have some of these businesses operating. Whether you're tier 3, tier 5, tier 12, it doesn't matter, right? If you're a safe operating business, you should be able to operate. If your business is one that raises the risk for the community and the employees, then you can't open. But that's where the CARES money comes in, and now you assist those businesses that, not to no fault of their own, the nature of their business creates a risk. So those obviously cannot operate, but you supplement or you subsidize them to a certain extent so they don't go out of business, so they don't close down for good. But there's no talk of that. There's no talk of that.
Here's an example. You have restaurants, right? You have the placard system. We talked about this before, right?
Mm-hmm.
They get an alert that there's an E. coli outbreak. E. coli, right? They don't close down all the restaurants. They just address those restaurants that have a certain lot number of the box of beef that they purchased from a certain vendor. And if it matches up with that lot number, they got to get rid of their beef. They got to disinfect their restaurant, and they may have to close down for one day. But see, that's controlled closing. That's what we need to do now. When you have an outbreak, if you close everything down across the state, that means that you really don't know where it's at, and you're just scared, and you're going to close everything down. That is wrong. That's when innocent business owners get hurt. If you're on target and you know there's an outbreak and you know where it's at, that's how I've always said, you concentrate on those areas. You don't blanket the whole island just because, there's a possibility you'll get people in your location that may get the virus. Well, do you know for a fact? No. But you know for a fact the virus breaking out in Waipahu, but pay attention to over there first before you come all the way to Hawaii Kai. Makes a difference, you know. And that's why we said when you get this placard system, you actually having inspectors going in there because you have two things. If there's a restaurant, you have inspectors that check for temperatures that the food is kept at certain temperatures. Hot foods is kept at certain temperatures. Everything you follow the protocol. You get a green placard. If there's some deficiency, you get a yellow. You gotta correct those things. If you don't correct anything, you got a red. That means you close. Well, we said why not go into those businesses, give them a green placard if they've gone over and beyond and they have everything that's neutral safe, meaning they made that place so safe, the probability is slim to none somebody gonna get sick. You cannot say 100%, but you're gonna be pretty damn close, right? Then you get one local business that just no more nothing. He just don't give a damn. Then when you say, brother, you stay close. Here's your red placard. Put them up in your window, and when you're ready for open, you call us. We'll give you a green one if you're ready to open, but you gotta pass the inspection. That's what they should be doing, and then we can all be a cray.
Well, can you imagine if a restaurant near and let's just use Tommy's TNT Tinting, right? Just
Mm.
because we had him on the show. So let's say the restaurant a block up the road had E. coli, salmonella, whatever the hell it is. Can you imagine? Hey, Mr. Silver, you got to close your business because we got to break out, you know, a block up the road. Yeah, many may think that is absolutely ridiculous. Well, but that's kind of the same thing, right? You have a business that has spent a lot of money to make sure that there is absolutely no risk to employees or customers. Everything was implemented, but they don't get looked at for that. They don't get looked at the individual
They're looking at bodies
accommodations.
and numbers that could get infected. That's what they look at.
Mhm.
All they look at. You're right. You're right
Yeah.
now.
I mean, it's we understand the difference between E. coli and the virus, but my point is that they're not looking at the different types. I mean, it's generalizations, right? Gyms, okay? All gyms, whether you have, you could have a gym with a one instructor with one customer at a time, you know, separated by 15 feet, 20 feet, whatever it is, all of proper PPE, all of those things that brings the risk way down. But it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. Everybody gets tossed in the bucket. Everybody gets, you know, the bucket gets tossed out, and that is why I think a lot of people are shutting down, and they're shutting down for good. So the other part of this, though, in partnership with that program to of controlling the businesses that are safe and not safe, Charlie, you gotta have a program that restricts as best as possible the influx of virus from outside. You know, so you cannot continue to bring in more virus and then expect the businesses to stay open and not create risk. And that is where I think right now everything is it's lopsided. You know, it's lopsided. It's here, visit industry, everybody else, and that is where we're gonna start seeing the problems. So
But you know what's
we'll
good
see.
last night was really good last night was that Angela Keene from Hawaii Quarant- Quarantine Couple Breakers mentioned to our viewers that she had a conversation with Big John DeFries from
Mhm.
HTA, and he was just as upset as anybody else because he was catching cracks too on his phone, right? So he understands, and you know that was good to know. He understands how important an entity like HTA and the role that they play in Hawaii, and some of the precautions that they gotta mention because everything tourist related goes back to them as well, right? So
Mhm.
they have to be on the forefront of this battle. This
Yeah.
battle is not frontline workers. It says, well, let them come in here to get sick because we have plenty of doctors and nurses. Come on, gang. We got to think about them. Those doctors and nurses, they have families too. They don't like go home, sleep in one tent in their front yard because of giving the family the virus if they happen to be contaminated with it. Okay. And if you think that's some bull lie, I get a lot of friends in a medical field that will tell you they made a makeshift room in the garage. They actually have a tent set up in their yard because they have little ones at home and they cannot run the risk of them getting transmitting the virus to them. So they have to quarantine for. I mean, how sad is that? You like hold your kids and you got to stay outside in the yard. That's rough. That's rough. I don't know how many people can go. I know I cannot go through that. So
Yeah,
what
it'd
do
be
I
rough.
do? You just be cautious as much as possible from the get go. But these are people that chose that profession that want to help those who are sick. And what we're saying is try not get sick. Do everything safe as possible so you don't get this virus. Okay? Until we get on a vaccine, try not get sick. No, it's like on lion tamer. How many of you like going to a cage? Never been in a cage with a lion, and all they give you is on whip, no chair, no gun, no nothing. What you gonna do? Whip that lion to death? Nah, ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen.
Senator Kai Kahele is joining us tonight. He just texted me. He's going to be on in about 5 minutes. They had a meeting function tonight.
Yep,
As you know, Senator Kahele just won election to U.S. Representatives, Congress.
yep.
So he'll be
Congressman.
on tonight. Talk a little bit about that. I also want to ask. We talked a little bit about the Big Island is looking at removing that mandatory testing, arrival testing or post arrival testing, and they're looking at going to a 20% surveillance type, voluntary surveillance testing. Now, I understand that the mayor, Harry Kim, was directed to do that by someone in the square white building. And it's quite disturbing, but because I cannot imagine Mayor Kim doing that on his own. So anyway, I'm curious to see what Senator Kahele thinks about that. Again,
Well,
totally, we
they're
had no.
aligning because Kauai Mayor Kawakami. That's okay. You hear these bozos going up and down the street.
Mhm.
The boombox law. Young kids, they like get cars, but they don't understand. They go right in front of the house. One day, when I yank them out of the window, then they're gonna understand about the boombox law. But anyway, Mayor Kawakami. Right now, we have something similar to that 20%, right? They post test, voluntary, they come after. So I think what it looks like is they're trying to line everything up, line the stars all up together. But guess what, gang? Our universe is already showing that those what they propose to do on a big island, it's not going to work because it's not working now. And that's why I believe our mayor is frustrated because he can only do so much because he keeps on getting rammed by this governor. And I say, Governor, let us do what we gotta do. I mean, it's a good thing that we catching them and we diligent. We have a facility here on island that we can quarantine and isolate the person. I don't know if the other islands get that. Knowing
I don't
somebody
think so.
because and then we over there because it's remote, we can keep an eye on that person. They cannot escape. They cannot accept visitors, right? We keeping an eye on them until they're completely safe to be discharged. We have that here in Kauai. Now, if you had that on your island, then I would say, okay, then maybe you get a fighting chance. But to tell you, oh, voluntary, go to your house. You know how that voluntary system works, right? Just like the voluntary quarantine. How does that voluntary thing work out? That means that when the cat's away, the mice will play.
This is what I worry about for the Big Island. And I get my brother lives up in the Big Island. I got a lot of family and friends that live up on the Big Island. There are brothers and our sisters, man. But they're talking about a 20% surveillance testing, meaning that 20% of the visitors, the arrivals, will get a little notification that they're going to be part of the surveillance testing system, voluntary. That if you get this message, remember only 20%. If you get this message, please report to the testing facility and get a test. 20% of the arrivals. On Kauai, we offer that to everybody. right? We offer it to every arrival, and of that, only 2% has taken up the offer. So if you only had told
Let,
20%,
yeah.
if you only told
Let's
20%, uh,
let's look at this whole scenario. And you just said it. 20% is voluntary, right? 20% is voluntary, and not all 20% going to take up, right?
right?
What about the other 80%? They wasn't even asked if they like participate. So in essence, in one day, you could get 100% no participate.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, Senator, how are you?
Aloha, guys. How's it going?
Aloha, Senator Kahele, soon to be Congressman Kahele. Congratulations, my friend. What an amazing,
Congratulations.
amazing victory, bro.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much. I know you're a busy guy, man. I can only imagine what it's like now to get ready to go to Washington, D.C. But we just thank you so much for joining us tonight.
The phone doesn't stop ringing, Mel. I need somebody to answer the phone, and I get about 500 texts to reply to, but it's
Hey,
okay.
hey, man, I'm looking for a job, man. I tell you what, I can work for you in
And you
Congress.
gotta go to kaikahele.com and you can apply online, brother, right now.
Right on, bro. I like be a driver. I like carry your luggage around. Whatever,
Body
man. I
man,
just like
maybe a body man.
yeah, that too. Take me and Charlie. Take me and Charlie. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Oh, right
Hey,
on.
again, thanks for being here. We've been talking about COVID as we have been for 8 months now. But before we get there, just tell us how it feels, man. How it feels to
It
come off that
feels,
victory.
it's been a 22-month journey, guys. We launched this campaign in early January 2019. We were the first candidate in the country to announce for the United States Congress. And, at that time, we had very little name recognition outside of Hilo, virtually no money, about 10 people on Twitter. And we had a lot of work to do and a steep mountain to climb. So, the fact that we've completed this first journey, a new journey begins. But along the way, we've met so many people, so much supporters. It's just been an awesome journey and one that I'll never forget. One that I never thought I'd be doing at 46 years of age at this point in my life. But it's been great, and I'm looking forward to representing Hawaii in Congress and being that voice, and I'm excited.
Well, it'll be nice to see a nice young local boy up in Congress. What is the average age of Congress now? About what, 102?
I have no idea.
I've been watching some of these things on TV. I look, man, nobody's younger than 85 that I see on TV. My God, there's some old Congress.
Yeah, well, I'm excited. You see behind me, two Hawaii icons, Patsy Mink, Senator Akaka. Both of them served the 2nd Congressional District when they were in office, and I'm following in their footsteps, and I just can't wait. Senator Akaka was a mentor of mine. He was very good friends with my dad. He was someone I looked up to as a Native Hawaiian. And just to think that I'm going to walk in his footsteps and be able to see what he saw when he walked the halls of Congress, it's chicken skin. It's a great day for Hawaiians, for indigenous peoples across America and across the Pacific. And I think I'm going to bring a great, unique, diverse voice to the Congress. And I'm going to be somebody who can articulate and speak for the challenges that our neighbor island families have and deal with each and every day, because I've lived on the neighbor islands my entire life. And so, I walk in the footsteps of great leaders like Sparky Matsunaga from the Garden Island of Kauai, and of course, Patsy Mink from Paia, Maui, and others that have had the opportunity and the privilege to serve in Congress. So I'm ready to go.
I gotta ask one question, Charlie. I gotta ask one question, Charlie. Before, is your office gonna be like how Senator Akaka's office, where you just felt like you were in Hawaii, where Auntie came out with bare feet, no more slippers, no more. Yeah, okay. All right.
I would like to, and this is I'm putting out the kahea, across the Pai'aina, across the islands. I would like to have something from every moku, from every island, to be represented in the nation's capital. And so I don't know what that is, but if you are on Molokai and Kauai and Lanai and Niihau and Maui and Windward Oahu and of course Hawaii Island, I would love for something to come. And maybe we start right there, Mel, and I would love to have every part of and the beauty of Hawaii represented uh, in the second congressional district's office. And so,
Awesome.
yeah, we got 57 days to figure that out.
What the people don't understand too, and I shared this the other day. First of all, you're the third with Hawaiian ancestry to occupy the seat in Congress from Hawaii, right? Behind,
There's been Wilcox, Kuhio, Jardine, or I'm sorry, Jarrett, Akaka. There's been others that have represented Hawaii when we were a territory, and of course, Senator Kaka has been the only one to represent us since statehood. So
yeah. But the thing is, now to be represented from an outer island, because everything else was from Oahu, yeah,
yeah,
second congressional
yeah,
district from Oahu. So it brings great pride to the outer islands, and I think people from the outer islands should rejoice that we actually have someone from the outer islands represent, not taking anything away from Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard, because everyone who serves in the second congressional district is to be applauded, and even in the first with Ed Case. But now to have someone actually from the outer islands, Big Island of Hawaii, to be donning the halls of Congress, that is something special. And
yeah.
like I told you that day when you came up to take home the boys and girls from the National Guard, it was a sight to see. I told everybody, boy, you see that big plane, when you see the Okole opening up and there you walking out making a shaka sign, I said, would be one Kanak, who's a captain of that big plane, just to greet all of them. That was another sight to see. So
Well, and it's I hope an inspiration to Keiki all across Hawaii that they can do that too. And I'm telling you guys, if Kai Kahele can go to the United States Congress from Hilo, Hawaii, a boy who grew up in Miloli'i, uh, son of Hawaii, anybody can do it, and it's a great story to shoot for the stars. No dream is out of reach, and just go for it. Believe in yourself and
mhm.
go for it. And I hope to be an inspiration for children all across Hawaii.
Okay, good.
Awesome. I'm so excited, man. I'm so excited. I've been up there a few times, more than a few times, and spent a lot of time in Senator Kaka's office and Senator Inouye. That being in Senator Inouye's office, I remember my first time. He actually had two offices at Congress because he was that probably one of the most powerful men in the world. It was just I was in awe, and I cannot wait to get up there to visit your office. Um, but you're still in the Senate. You still have some time there.
I
When do you
do, yeah.
actually?
I'm still in the
Wh-
state
wh-
senate and working together with, of course, your good friend and Senate President Ron Kochi to figure out when would be the best time for me to submit my resignation to the Hawaii State Senate. What I really want, I got two priorities. Well, I have three. One, I really want to take part in the special session of the state senate in about a week and a half, 2 weeks, to vet and confirm the governor's appointee to the state Supreme Court. I think that's really important. The second thing is I want to make sure my staff is taken care of. I got a hardworking staff that have been with me for a long time and have served with my dad as well. They're very important to me. I want to make sure they're taken care of. And then finally, I want to make sure I give enough time to the Democratic Party of Hawaii to be able to go through their process to qualify three finalists here in Hilo in State Senate District 1, and ultimately present those names to the governor so that he can choose the next senator for Hilo, and that senator, he or she, can be seated and can stand up their office in time for the convening of the 2021 legislative session, which should be about the second, third week in January. So that's kind of my focus right now.
All right. Okay. Real quick, as a senator now, let's talk a little bit about COVID. We understand that the Big Island, you folks have had that opportunity to test all the arrivals coming in. That was Mayor Kim's option to do so, and now we find out that there may be a change, and that in fact they're going to do away with that and go with a 20% type of surveillance testing. What's the feeling on the Big Island right now as far as COVID is concerned? You know, Kawhi, we've been doing so well for so long, and now we're seeing these. We just talked about before you came on. You know, in the last 24 hours, we've had 5 cases of all 11 of the 12 cases that we've had are travel related. 11, I don't know, about 7 or so of them had taken the test on the mainland, tested negative. We're here quarantine free, only either to take that voluntary second test or get sick and end up in the hospital. And that's how we found out they were positive. What's the feeling on the Big Island right now as it relates to COVID and the testing system and the process?
I just think, I'm as confused as the others in our community about what is the latest procedure and how you get tested and what you got to do. Case in point, my sister who came out here for election night from Oahu to Hilo had to pay $200 for a test at the urgent care. The thing was 3 times more than her airline ticket just to get here to Hilo. When she got here to Hilo, she thought she was going to do that secondary test that you thought about, but they didn't do it. And she just walked right out and was waiting for me when I picked her up. So, there's definite confusion in what the current protocols are. I think, the county of Hawaii has to be more clear in that. But at the same time, our COVID counts haven't dropped dramatically like they would have expected. And like you just, pointed out, in some cases, the counts have gone up or have stayed the same. And you posted a picture of a Boeing 737, luxury jet sitting out at Lihui Airport. It's obvious that people are coming in from the mainland because, they feel like our COVID counts are a lot less than other parts of the country. So they want to come here. And so, I just think we have to have a consistent message, and it has to be backed up by science. And at the end of the day, we should defer to the different county mayors and what they decide to do. But they also got to make decisive decisions. What we don't want is indecisiveness, and we're always changing, and we don't know what's going on and what the latest protocols are. So that would be my concern.
You know, when you occupy your seat in Congress, it seems pretty pretty soon we'll find out who the next president is, and we just by the numbers what it's showing will probably be a Democratic president. How do you see yourself taking up a role
Oh,
in especially in the House in Congress? Um, that's going to be again in the blue section, because COVID has been on everybody's mind, whether some people want to accept it or not. I mean, we're approaching what 240,000 deaths, and the numbers just keep on rising. Another record-breaking day with 120,000 cases in the United States. It doesn't seem to be going away, and so it has far exceeded the theory or conspiracy theorists that say that this is just a flu, because it has exceeded those numbers already. So they cannot use that argument anymore. What do you see your role in Congress? Maybe talking with the heads of Congress as well as the president. That they got to be really proactive about going after this virus. What do you?
Well, most importantly, we need to make sure that our small delegation is unified in that core message, right? And that we push for and we fight for and advocate for Hawaii and the health and safety of our people and our community. We need to get a handle of COVID-19 on a national scale very, very quickly as we approach the winter season. They're expecting things to get worse. And that's just something that we absolutely have to do. You know, right now our children are struggling across America. My first grade daughter, cries a couple times a week because she's tired of Zooming, and she wants to get back to school. And there's different policies throughout the Department of Education. Every different complex area superintendent has a different policy. Every principal have different policies. There needs to be a clear, concise message from the superintendent of education, from the board of education, from the Department of Health that they are relying on for information that ultimately leads to the CDC and a national health policy and directive on how to address this. But 9, 10 months in, Charlie, this is crazy. That we are still here, and that we're having record-breaking cases. That we've reopened Hawaii, that we still don't have a mandatory mask mandate. Um, it's scary for sure, and our small businesses are suffering, our economy is suffering, and we just need new leadership, and that's what I hope a Biden administration will bring. And at the same time, the EGA administration and our 4 county mayors, have to do the same as well.
Well, I tell you, it's you've hit the nail on the head with what you just said. Mel and I have kept active with this because we felt that sometimes the message gets pushed to the side or gets watered down. And I think everybody needs to stay on top, because when you don't have a clear, concise message, you have to take all the precautions you can in keeping yourself, your family, and your loved ones safe at all times. And I think even that message got kind of watered down by those in power in the state. And I think it needs to really needs to focus in and sharpen itself, because it does. We thought the numbers were going to go down, yet Mel and I knew it because of what how we follow the mainland. It was just a matter of time that we're going to see the numbers start climbing. And right now we're looking at numbers that it's still like a mosquito. It's a pest. It just keep
Right.
on floating around, doesn't want to go away. And if you
And,
don't take care of it, it's just going to keep on
yeah,
blowing.
and you mentioned the blue team earlier, right? Like
Yeah.
that's got to end. The red team, the blue team, we got to be one team,
Mhm.
and that's what we need. We need one team. Our national leaders to set an example and to set clear guidance to the states on what we need to do until we can develop a vaccine. That vaccine is 100% solid, tested, and that we can distribute that vaccine as quickly as possible. And that's clearly what we need to do, so we can get back to some semblance of normalcy. But there are a lot of people that are struggling out there, and our keiki are struggling, our kupuna are struggling. My daughter goes to school 3 hours a day. 3 hours a day. She's not hardly learning for 3 hours via Zoom. Every child in our country, especially the ones in public education, especially the ones in the most rural, economically challenged communities, and then not to mention the ones that have learning disabilities and have physical challenges, uh, they are struggling, and this country is hurting right now. And I just hope that there are people that are working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, to come up with a solution to this. And that's what I intend to do when I get to go to the Congress. And I hope to be that voice, one of those voices there. We 535 members of Congress need to speak in one unified voice. Red team, blue team is Paul.
I sure hope so. I mean, that's
Yep.
caused quite a bit of problems. I mean, it's absolutely. Anyway, I don't want to get into that, but you and the rest of the delegation, I'm assuming, get along. I think, from what I see anyway, no issues with the Hawaii delegation. Looks like
Yeah,
they're all
no,
going to welcome you. And
yeah, I think it's a breath of fresh air. I think, anytime a new member of the team joins the team, it adds a new dynamic to the team, a new excitement. And I think I bring that. I have a great relationships with our U.S. senators and Congressman Case, who I've known for a long time. Beyond being a colleague, he's a personal friend of our family, and we have mutual connections to very special places here in Hilo and here on Hawaii Island. So, I think we're going to be a great team in the U.S. House, and we've already been demonstrating that together over the last few months. He's helped prepare me for what I'm going through right now, which is frankly, drinking from a fire hose. But we will be ready to go on day one, and I'm looking forward to representing, half the state in Congress.
so how does this work? You move to DC? Are you going to be, your family going to relocate? You guys going to stay, your family's going to stay here and you're going to commute? How does this work? It's just the personal side of your job, your new job.
we've been asking Maria and I, and I got a mahalo, my wife Maria. None of us would be able to do the things we do without the spouses in our lives. Maria is the backbone of our family, and she puts up with me, and we've talked about this for the last 2 years, and I think COVID has prior to COVID, I was going to commute back and forth like Senator Schatz does, like the late Mark Takai did. And as an airline pilot, 20 years living in airplanes, I could do it. Not the best for me physically, but I would do that, obviously for my family. But COVID has really made us realize how special family is, how limited the amount of time we have together on this earth, and how things can change dramatically overnight. And so we've decided to move the family to Washington, D.C. So they're going to finish school. Namaka is in a kindergarten. We want her to finish, preschool. And Iolana's in the first grade. We want them to finish school this year. And then we're going to move to Washington, D.C. One of our challenges is figuring out how to continue their education in Hawaiian medium education, which we've been doing ever since they were about a year old. So, we really want to maintain that piko, that umbilical cord to Hawaii and our Olelo Hawaii language that we've been immersing them in. But long story short, the whole family is coming. This is something that I want them to be able to experience. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity. I want us to be together as a family up there in Washington, D.C. And at the same time, you know what, Mel? If I commuted back and forth on, leave D.C. Thursday, come back Monday, rat race, Monday through Thursday, leave again, you never get a chance to experience Washington, D.C. You never get a chance to meet with other members of Congress and their families on the weekends, right? Have barbecues, throw baseball, play together, let our wives enjoy each other. And so I'm really looking forward to developing, I think, what is those necessary personal relationships outside of politics, outside of the Capitol, when we get families together and we start rebuilding that connection that I think is lost right now in Washington, D.C. So, the Kaheles are coming. Better get ready.
I love it, man. I love it.
Yeah,
That's so exciting.
We're going to need some Kiokis Lau Lau and Kalua Pig and Squid Luau. And so I hope you can help with that, Mel.
Brother, my wife is an expert with care packages. We get 2 kids in Oregon. Trust me, she sends everything. She got them down. So, yeah, expect some goodies.
I already told my Uncle Willie Kaupico he got to send, at least once a month some dry opelo from Miloli. So, that and poi from Waipio. So, no, we're excited, super excited. And, mahalo to the island of Kauai, who gave us a resounding victory this past week for your support. I'm honored, each and every one, even, those that didn't vote for me, I'm going to earn your vote. I'm going to earn your trust. I'm going to be your voice in Congress. And for those that did, mahalo nui loa. And I can't wait to represent you. And I can't wait to welcome you. When COVID is hopefully a thing of the past, hey, book your tickets to Washington, D.C. I can't wait to hone and give you an aloha and give you a tour of the Capitol and just, welcome you with open arms to our nation's capital, Hawaiian style.
Charlie, any questions, Charlie?
No, said it all.
Right on. Well, hey, guys, thank you so much.
Hey,
I really appreciate it. Mahalo.
Thank you, my friend. Stay safe. Send our love and aloha to your ohana, and looking forward to seeing you in DC. That's a fabulous city, man. I love that place. I took Patsy not last year. It's been a few years now, and that was her first time there. We just had a blast. So much to do. Can't wait to stop by your office one day soon, my friend. Thank you so much, bro.
Back in March, Mel, when did you start this?
The what?
The Mel and Charlie show. You started in late February?
No, it was March.
Early March, right?
Yeah.
I cannot believe that this is November and you guys are still doing this show 5-6 days a week.
6 days.
Sometimes I want to mahalo you guys for that. Your stamina is unbelievable, and it's obvious that the people of Hawaii the people that view your show, that tune in every night, appreciate the information that you bring to them, the unfiltered information you bring to them, the people you bring on, the subject matter experts you bring on. I just want to mahalo you guys for doing that. And I tell you what, if you guys are still doing the Charlie and Mel show in early January 2021, I'm going to jump on this show from Washington, D.C., and I can't wait to join you then. So you put me down on one of those days, bro.
Definitely will.
Okay.
Well, thank you guys. Thank you all. To our viewers, thank you again. Appreciate Senator and Congressman Elect Kai Kahele for spending some time with us tonight. We'll see you guys tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. Stay safe, everybody. We love you guys. God bless.
Have a great weekend. Aloha.
Aloha.